Pope Francis, still recovering from his respiratory infection, appeared this Sunday, April the 20th, 2025, in a wheelchair on the balcony of the central loggia of St. Peter's Basilica for the Urbi et Orbi blessing after Easter Sunday Mass. He called for a ceasefire in Gaza, the release of the hostages, and aid to the people, as well as a halt to the race to rearmament. Jorge Mario Bergoglio delegated the reading of the message, which traditionally addresses the world's conflicts and ills, to the Master of Ceremonies, Diego Ravali. I feel close to the suffering of Christians in Palestine and Israel, as well as to all the Israeli and Palestinian people, wrote Francis, who briefly and in a weak voice said, "Happy Easter," before thousands of faithful gathered. I would like us to believe again that peace is possible. May the light of peace radiate from the Holy Sepulchre, Church of the Resurrection, where this year Easter will be celebrated on the same day by Catholics and Orthodox, over the entire Holy Land and the entire world, the text reads. It also called for a ceasefire in Gaza, the release of the hostages, and the provision of aid to the people, who are hungry and yearning for a peaceful future. Papa Mobile Tour. In another passage of his message, although without referring to the war in Gaza, Francis criticized the attacks on hospitals and humanitarian workers. May the principle of humanity, the cornerstone of our daily actions, never be weakened. In the face of the cruelty of conflicts that affect unarmed civilians, attacking schools, hospitals, and humanitarian workers, we cannot allow ourselves to forget that what is in the crosshairs is not a mere target, but people with a soul and dignity, he stated. He also urged prayer for the Christian communities of Lebanon and Syria, who long for stability and participation in the destiny of their respective nations. I urge the entire Church to accompany with attention and prayer the Christians of the beloved Middle East. He also mentioned Yemen, which is experiencing one of the worst protracted humanitarian crises in the world due to the war, and invited everyone to seek solutions through constructive dialogue. Francis also called for disarmament. Peace is also not possible without true disarmament. The need of each people to provide for its own defense cannot be transformed into a general race for rearmament, he asserted. Then called on political leaders not to give in to the logic of fear that isolates, but to use available resources to help those in need, combat hunger, and promote initiatives that foster development. Afterward, Bergoglio toured St. Peter's Square aboard his Papamobile to greet the faithful.